social media, when we say, it is the interactive part of, we can say, the network itself, right? Social media act as a digitally interactive medium where people can share their information, exchange the ideas. There could be understandings which can be created, or there could be connections between communities which can be created, and this all is being created with the help of a virtual community and a network which has been generated. So the major utility in social media is for the network itself, right? So when we say social media acts as a virtual community, right, which is established over network, So the internet has the basic utility and establishment of the social media, right? It is interactive, which is based on Web 2.0. So it is the Web 2.0 utility which is being generated, right? It creates user generated content. The participators in the social media itself generate their own content, their own ideas, their own views, and over that content itself the discussions can be created. So the user generated content is created. So it is more shared content which has been created. It helps in sharing information, ideas, etc. can be generated with the user generated content which can be generated, right? This is also a method where the crowd data sourcing is being generated. Data is generated by the crowd itself and is being utilized by the crowd. That is called as crowd data sourcing or crowdsourcing of the data also, right? Which is also generated with the help of social media. Social media helps to create service specific targets also, or service specific profiles where users can themselves can participate. It provides a platform where users can themselves come in, provide these services, right? So it will help to generate more social entrepreneurs also, right? It will be a facilitator for the development of the online social networks which are being created, right? So it also acts as the online social network facilitator. Right? There are various types of social media which are being generated. The major types of social media that we say, then the first type of social media that we see is a blog. Blog is a diary like input which is being generated, right? It is simply a diary based input on the digital platform where the end user which is writing the blog, it can constantly write over the information, and that information can be shared amongst people. People can comment on the information, people can utilize the information, and they can define we can say they can express their views over that particular information. So blog is a discussion or informal website published on the worldwide www, consisting of discrete and open informal diary style text entries, etc. that can be created. So it is a diary style text which is being created over a particular website, and there could be exchange of ideas over this, right? That is a blog. When a particular blog has a word limit to be written, that becomes a microblog, right? When we have a word limit which is being driven on writing the blog, on writing the information or expressing their own information, that becomes a microblog, right? Like for example, Facebook itself Facebook has one of the tool which is the blogging. We can share our own stories, we can share our own ideas, we can share our own views, and people can comment over those views. That is one aspect of blogging itself, right? Then social media also creates business networks. which are being created, social business networks which are being created, and that also remains as one of the major tool of social media. It is a professional network service which is being provided, social business network, and which is mainly focused on interaction and relationship of the business and business we can say stakeholders, or the tools which are being required, right? The nature is rather more interactive, personal, relative to a particular business. That becomes the business network which has been created. Social business network, like we have the LinkedIn, etc. These are social business based websites which are being created. Then we have the enterprise social networking. Which is also generated over here. The enterprise social networking is a type of tool which focuses on the use of online social networks or social relations amongst people who share business interest and other activities. That becomes the social network of a particular business. There could be blogs of different companies, organizations, or websites of organizations which bring in ideas also. So the interactive websites of different organizations to bring in ideas, like Mahindra Group does it with the users itself. There could be forums which are also being created, or discussion platforms which are being created. That becomes the enterprise social network. Then we have forums, which is also one of the type of social media only. Forum act as a discussion platform where issues can be raised, they can be marked, they can be tagged, and then these issues they can be discussed, right? So it is a conversation platform, bi-direction conversation platform which has been created. It acts as a message board. The internet forum act as a message board, as an online discussion site where people can hold conversation in the form of posted messages. Right? We can post message, we can tag the message, we can flag the message, and there could be a response which can be generated to a particular message. That becomes the blog. Then we have photo sharing based social media. We can share photos, we can share photo based ideas, and there could be comment which can be invited. Instagram, Facebook, these are the type of photo sharing social media that we have. Then the product and services review based social platform. Product and services review, usually with the websites which, when they are being generated, integrated ratings over the services which are being provided. That is also a social media, because that also helps in interaction, and that also helps in constant we can say communication between the users itself on the interactive web platforms, right? Then we can have social bookmarking. Which is also a social media tool. The social bookmarking means it acts as an online service which allows to add, annotate, edit, and share the bookmarks of different types of the web documents. We can bookmark a document over a web page, right? Sharing up of it over the social media itself, that becomes the social bookmarking, right? Then we can have social gaming, which is also one tool. We can have video sharing, YouTube, right? YouTube, TikTok, all these are the video sharing social media tools. And then we can have various different types of the virtual worlds, the gaming worlds. They are also the type of the social media, right? So there are multiple types of social media which are being created. The basic benefit of social media that we look up to, then their utilities can be higher, right? Social media benefits, when we define, then the basic benefits of social media is increased awareness amongst citizens relative to a particular information. The flow of information is very fast when it is community directed, right? Right, community connection is being generated over here. This also helps to create a community consensus relative to a particular issue or a particular topic, right? This can help in discussion and knowledge improvement, discussion and generation of a knowledge society, which is also one of the basic aspect. People discuss, they do argue, they will have their own views, but out of the discussion there are multiple views which are being created using the social media itself. That can help to flourish the knowledge, that can help to enrich the knowledge with the society also. That is also one benefit of it. Then the connected societies itself, right? Or community connection is also one aspect that we have written already, or connected societies. Then the cultural exchange is also one benefit that can be generated with the help of social media itself, right? Then social media is helpful in businesses itself, right? It can generate digital marketing tools or various different types of the tools. So business using social media, business and e-commerce using social media is also one aspect of, one benefit of social media, right? Then this will also help to when cultural exchange takes place, then the linguistic and the cultural barriers can also be or the hurdles can also be bypassed. So this helps to abolish the regional, social and cultural barriers also. Abolish barriers, not geographical but social, cultural, linguistic. These barriers, they can also be abolished, right? And then it can be helpful in provision of the services, various services, service provision can also be taken up over here, right? All of it, they are the benefits of social media that we can look up to. The social media can be helpful in various ways. Invariably, social media can be the use cases of social media when we say, then social media is useful for governments. For the governments, it can be helpful in providing awareness, also providing policy support, then grievance redressal tools, can be generated for the government itself, right? Public participation can be generated with social media itself. Then the feedback systems can also be brought in, where improvement in the government service delivery can also be understood. The problems in the government service delivery can also be understood, and they can be improvised also with the help of the various use cases which are being generated. So they could be helpful for businesses. Then they can be helpful for the basic business of the government itself, and they are also helpful for businesses, where they can help in generation of digital marketing, right? They can be helpful in selective marketing also. Selective users, selective tools, desired products can be sold to a set of people over here, right? So a selective marketing or selective e-commerce can be generated over here with the help of social media, right? Then they are also helpful in a large scale digital analysis, or the digital analytics, or rather the data analysis and the data analytics which can be generated over here. So flourishes data analytics business also. The understanding of that particular thing can also be generated with the help of social media itself, right? Then social media can also be helpful in sale of desired products, manufacturing, because ideas can be shared over social media and products can be manufactured according to the needs of the consumers and needs of the consumers. Alibaba.com has done the same thing right? It has gathered data out of the needs which are being generated from data analytics, and then desired products are being supplemented in different markets also, right? Global market capture. Could also be seen for the improvement of the businesses, right? Social media can also help in various ways, where it can help in emergency situations, emergency search and rescue, etc. can be generated over here, right? Governments can also connect to citizens in case of emergency or in case of crisis, where government messages, services can also be generated over social media itself, right? In case of emergency responses or in case of disaster, or it can be helpful in post-disaster management, where over social media, or pre-disaster management also, pre and post disaster management, right? Then it is useful in creating global consensus about the issues. So it acts as a global discussion forum also, right? So that would also be one use case also, global discussion forum. Then it can also be helpful in law enforcement. Right. Much of the use can also be seen with the social media, where social media can help in education, where social media can help to generate shared resources, shared and open resources of education. There could be forums or blogs which are being utilized for discussion, problem solving, etc. can be generated over here, right? Guidance from different teachers can be made available over social media, or academicians can be made over social media. So the global interaction as far as education is considered, a professor from the foreign university can teach over certain subjects, and that can be one benefit that can be gained from all the students all over the world itself. That is available over YouTube, Facebook, etc. They are participating in this also. So that benefit or that use case can also be generated with the help of education, right? Where we can have global participation of the media, of different types of the views, resources, right? It helps to establish various open online courses also. Videos of different types of the courses, they can be generated and they can be posted over social media, which can help to benefit these students, target these students for their needs. So that is also helpful. So in education, it helps in distance education, which would also be one aspect of social media, right? Then social media can also be helpful in healthcare management, where healthcare practices or awareness related to healthcare can also be provided. Healthcare, in this awareness, like in the case of COVID-19, social media was very important. We had many social media posts which were created. The actual case scenario, what need to be done, what need not to be done, they all has been defined over here with the help of social media, and that was then utilizable for the public safety itself, right? So even there could be practices or safe practices which can be taken up over here. Awareness regarding safe practices, right? Remedies can be made available. Traditional knowledge of medicines can also be brought online, right? that can help to improvise the healthcare, or we can create many home-based therapeutics or remedies can also be created with the help of social media, right? So various use cases that can be generated in agriculture for awareness regarding various tools, various Kisan call centers, they have been created already, and then awareness regarding the agricultural tools that can also be provided with the help of social media, which is also one aspect of the benefit that is being generated. So a large scale use case which can be generated and a large scale benefit that can be generated with the help of social media. Connected communities, discussion over the communities, knowledge society formation, they are all some of the benefits which are being generated. But there are certain peculiar disadvantages or the challenges relative to social media. And one of the major challenge with social media is social polarization. Social polarization. Over a particular issue, there could be various discussions and there could be a polarization of the large scale media, right? And when data analytics is generated with social polarization, there could be directed polarization, which can be utilized also, right? Which is being manipulated by political organizations also. There could be views which are being shared, but then political organization help to create various different types of the we can say polarization over the society itself. The society itself gets polarized over the views, right? Either you would be left wing or you would be right wing, but you are not into neutral state, because if you are using social media will not let you enter into a neutral state. You would always create a social polarization. With the social polarization, various undefined posts are being created, then social chaos can be created, which is also one major problem. Then the illicit use of the social media and data analysis and the data privacy related issues. Data privacy and security. Personal information can be taken up, can be extracted by the social media tools, and that can be utilized invariably, or that can be made available over other online platforms. So there is a breach of privacy also. So for the individuals which are involved with the social media, right? Then that is also one of the basic problem that it can create, right? Then social media also has a particular problem that with the social media tools there are various malwares which can also be transmitted. Social engineering. Where malwares or the network security issues become a problem, become a large scale challenge, right? Now in case of marketing, or the digital marketing which is being utilized constantly, then it is also something which has become tremendously irritating for the end user also. So irritability of or by digital marketing is one of the major problem which is being generated nowadays. Then though it is useful for various kind of the cases where news or awareness is being provided, but the authenticity of information, which is made available over the social media, is also one thing. Then social chaos which is being created because of social media can also lead towards revolts, where there are multiple examples where we have seen if the social revolts, if they are being created, they have been triggered by social media itself, right? So they have created a revolt triggering tool also, social media, right? That is also one of the major problems. Then there could be a constant impact over the emotional intelligence of the particular user, right? There could be negative interpersonal interactions, right, which are being created because of the social media. People interact very well over social media platform, but the real world interaction has been gone. They are not able to understand this thing. And apart from this, there are multiple events of cyberbullying. People defame people, they post something wrong over the social media. That may be a malicious information, that may be an incorrect information relative to a particular person. Image damaging, image dent is being created, and ultimately the interpersonal communication is being disturbed. Cyber bullying is one of the major thing which has been seen with celebrities or the people being known to each other, right? With the social media, there could be emotional disturbance also, which has been generated. Overuse of social media lead towards emotional disturbances. That has also been created, right? Then social impacts like a kind of digital divide or disparity is also created. Those who are on social media, they thinks they are much more superior. Those who are not on social media, they feel a bit low in the society, or social disparity is being created. Then other problems that can be, they try to stereotype over certain things, right? People share their views and they create a particular stigma to a particular thing, or they try to stereotype certain views, certain principle itself, which may not be correct also, right? Like right wing, wing will have their own stereotypes, the left wing will have their own stereotypes, and there would be a conflict of interest over their stereotyping. Of the issues of the we can say various different types of the method, and the overall communication thing that has generated with social media. The overall lingo or the language has gone into something a new cloud itself, right? Which is not absorbable to the communities. There is a generation gap which has been created, right? Of course, there is a generation gap. Though both the generations are on social media, but the lingo is different. The communication has changed, the interaction has changed. So the social media interaction has increased, but the actual social interaction has decreased with the real world interaction has decreased. That is also one major problem which is being generated. So there is a particular issue relative to the trustworthiness of the social media also, there relative to the reliability of the social media, right? They are constantly harnessing the data. There is an issue of data harvesting and data mining. Data harvesting is social media tools unknowingly capture much amount of the data. That may be for constant surveillance, that may be for location services, that may be for improvement of the services, or in the name of improvement of the services, or that may be for personal information storehouse, or a large scale web-based database is being created by the social media tools. The complete activity online is being tracked by the social media just to improvise upon the digital marketing tools. But in turn, all the activities, when they are being stored, the overall data harvesting is being done. Unknowingly the data is being captured. And then there is data mining which is being generated by the social media itself. Mining up of the trends, analysis of different types of the trends, and that generates data mining also. And that data mining in fact invariably disturbs the people also, and there is a breach of privacy, there is a breach of data privacy, there is a breach of the privacy of the individual involved over there, right? That can also be that can also be a problematic thing, and that data which it harvests can be used by malicious organizations, can also be used by criminals, can also be used in social polarization, can also be used in creation of the social chaos. So social media has become so strong that it can influence people deeply just by analyzing that data itself, right? And there is a conflict. There is a conflict of ownership of the data also with respect to the social media. When there is a social data harvesting or data mining, then who is the owner? Ownership of data, and the conflict of ownership regarding the data is something which always remains. Usually this happens, the social media, majority of the social media tools, they take up the data and they store the data outside India, and how they are using that particular data, where that particular data would be used, this is something where the government cannot have a control, neither the citizens can have a control. So that is also one basic thing which is being generated right now, right? And in the name of the privacy policies which are being generated recently, WhatsApp has a privacy policy, Facebook has a privacy policy that we will capture some amount of the data, and now the till this point there was a question mark which was raised over data harvesting. Now through the policy they are pushing up to legalize the data harvesting and data mining, and there cannot be any legal penalties which can be imposed over these organizations for data harvesting, right? Either you accompany to this data policy or data privacy policy, or you don't, right? So though there are encryptions which are being provided, that end-to-end things are being encrypted, your communication remains end-to-end encrypted over social media, but your information is available over social media. Your mail ID, your phone number, your name, your blood group, your location, your movement, all of it is being tracked by social media itself. That is the basic breach in the daily routine of a particular person also. That is also one of the major issue, right? So the privacy concerns remains one of the major issue, and the overall commercialization of the data that they have generated is one of the major criticism which is being created, right? And over addiction or the emotional disturbance, loss of sleep, etc., that has also remained one of the major issue relative to this. A large scale issue or a large scale debate on social media recently has been created on censorship. The content which is available over the social media, whether it should be controlled and how it can be controlled, that has been ideally understood, that has been taken into account. Recently the Honorable Supreme Court of India has also taken into account that there must be certain rollouts, that the social media must be controlled, or the use or the inordinate use of social media must be controlled, and there must be data monitoring authorities that can monitor the data, the type of data which is available over social media, that should also be monitored, and there must be a restriction which must be imposed over the malicious content which is being stored or generated over social media, and that manipulates with the social emotions or disturbs the social emotions also. That is also one thing which must be created, right? Then criticisms have recently been also created for the deplatforming. It is a kind of internet censorship in which controversial speakers or their speeches are suspended by certain social media tools. Now the controversial, this is censorship is one thing, then deplatforming is also one thing. Right, the users are suspended over Twitter also. Some people may have a view, then some people may have a clash over the view, the report, and certainly because of the report which has been created by majority of the population, their speeches can be suppressed. So this is also suppression of speech, right? If the social media has been created, then it is also created for freedom of the speech. Though the freedom of the speech, everyone has their own parameter of freedom of the speech, but deplatforming is a deliberate suppression of the speech which has been created, for which it has been we can say has been criticized. Then social media tools, they have also been constantly used by the criminal organization, used by criminal organizations for malicious activities or for creating of social chaos in any particular area or creation of the revolt itself, right? The storming in the United States much recently for the racist comment which were created was somewhere down the track deliberately maintained by social media. Various storming nowadays in India against the agricultural farm bill is being fired up by social media also. So this polarization is one of the major problem relative to social media, and censorship is required. Which content has to be presented, because majority of the content and their authorization of the content, authenticity of the content over social media, because it is a crowdsourced platform. Crowd can generate content themselves according to their interest. They can manipulate with the facts and they can generate content according to their facts, and that can be one of the major problem relative to social media. So these are all certain things or debates which are relative to social media, right? This is about the various things relative to network, internet issues, internet of the things, and all these things which have been spoken of. Certain policies or net neutrality that we will discuss with the policies in this, right? Cyber security and policy section that we will discuss, and then we will discuss the policies relative to internet or the initiatives which have been taken up relative to the cumulative holistic policy. Next, we will discuss about the wireless communication. So that will complete the network devices, and then further we will have discussion over the role of ICT in different sectors, right? So the next session would be relative to wireless communication, and then the role of ICT in e-governance, role of ICT in learning, e-learning, etc., and then role of ICT in various economic development sectors that would also be discussed with this subsequently, right? Thank you very much for today.